Good morning to Dr. Agatha. Today I am going to present my FYP entitled The Relationships Between Smartphone-Enabled Job Flexibility and Job Autonomy, Social Support and Work-Leisure Conflict. First, I'm going to present the background of my study. Russell et al. 2022 stated that the culture of constant connectivity leads to technology overload, where workers experience stress and decline in well-being due to excessive use and reliance on technology. Baruch et al. 2020 stated that work flexibility reduces emotional exhaustion by lowering work-life conflict, but it can also create workload. Shabanet and Labatre 2025 suggest that using digital offices can increase job autonomy at first, but when digital work becomes too much, job autonomy starts to decrease. Ye et al. 2025 suggests that social support, both at work and in non-work domains, acts as a buffer against work demands and stress. This study aims to add to existing research by looking at how smartphone-enabled job flexibility, smartphone-enabled job autonomy, and social support influence work-leisure conflict. Next, I'm going to present the problem statement of my study. Yoon et al. 2012 and Son and Chen 2019 stated that flexibility blurs the line between work and personal life, causing more work-leisure conflict. Shabanet and Lemaitre 2025, Doar Gajudor and Dell 2018 stated that too much autonomy or digital work can make work hours longer and harder to manage, which may increase work-leisure conflict. However, Wang et al. 2022 suggests that job autonomy can decrease work-leisure conflict. Ideally, when employees are given job autonomy, it should help them balance their work and life. However, most current research overlooks a hidden downside of using smartphones to get this freedom. This study addresses this gap by showing that smartphone freedom is not always a good thing, as it can cancel out the benefits of job autonomy. There are not many studies that discuss how smartphone-enabled job flexibility and smartphone-enabled job autonomy affect work-leisure conflict directly. It is still unclear how smartphone-enabled job flexibility, job autonomy, and social support work together to affect work-leisure conflict. There are three research objectives in this study. First is to determine the relationship between smartphone-enabled job flexibility and work-leisure conflict. Second is to determine the relationship between smartphone-enabled job autonomy and work-leisure conflict. Third is to determine the relationship between social support and work-leisure conflict. There are three research questions in this study. First is, does smartphone-enabled job flexibility significantly relate to work-leisure conflict? Secondly, does smartphone-enabled job autonomy significantly relate to work-leisure conflict? Thirdly, does social support significantly relate to work-leisure conflict? There are three research hypotheses in this study. H1. There is a significant relationship between smartphone-enabled job flexibility and work-leisure conflict. H2. There is a significant relationship between smartphone-enabled job autonomy and work-leisure conflict. H3. There is a significant relationship between social support and work-leisure conflict. This is the conceptual framework in this study. It is adapted from Wang et al. 2022. The IVs are smartphone-enabled job flexibility, smartphone-enabled job autonomy, and social support. The DV is work-leisure conflict. Conceptual definition of smartphone-enabled job flexibility by Yoon et al. 2014 is it refers to the use of job provided or personally on smartphones that enable employees to perform work-related tasks both at work and at home. In this study, smartphone-enabled job flexibility is operationally defined as employees' perceived level of flexibility in using smartphone for work purposes, specifically in terms of where, when, and how work tasks are carried out. Based on an article by Doar Gajudor and Dell 2018, the use of personal smartphones for work increases job autonomy. This suggests that smartphone use for work purposes increases employees' sense of control over their work. In this study, smartphone-enabled job autonomy is operationally defined as the extent to which employees perceive control and freedom over their work as enabled by smartphone use, including control over job content, decision-making in task execution, and scheduling of assigned tasks. Conceptual definition of social support is it refers to the network of people an individual is connected to and the relationships they maintain within that network. This definition is by Drageset 2021. In this study, social support is operationally defined as the perceived availability of support from supervisors, their workplace environment, and significant others that helps employees manage work and non-work demands. Work-leisure conflict refers to the tension that occurs when the demands of one's job and personal leisure activities are incompatible. This definition is by Sauer et al. 2012. In this study, work-leisure conflict is operationally defined as the degree to which work responsibilities interfere with an individual's ability to engage in leisure activities and enjoy personal time. Significance of research to employees is it provides insight into how job resources and digital behaviors can affect their overall well-being. For organization, this study guides management to develop workplace policies that support employees' well-being and foster supportive work environment. For HRD field, this study can help in the creation of new training programs, focus on digital boundary setting and work-leisure integration skills. One of the limitations of this study is the use of cross-sectional design. This means that data is collected at one single point in time, which prevents the study from proving the cause and effect. Secondly, all information are collected from self-reported surveys, which carries the risk of common method bias. Thirdly, the study focuses on a specific group of employees and a limited set of variables, which means the findings may not apply broadly to all types of employees or fully account for all the different factors that can lead to work-leisure conflict. One of the theories used in this study is boundary theory by Ashworth et al. 2000. This theory is relevant to this study because smartphones create permeable boundaries. Even when an employee is at home, smartphone allows work tasks to pass through the cognitive boundary. Second theory is WHR model. This model's relevance to this study is it shows that reduction of mental energy or mood prevents employee to perform well in the home domain. Past research related to job smartphone enabled job flexibility and work-leisure conflict. Yoon et al. 2012 stated that increased work overload associated with office home smartphone use intensifies work-to-life conflict, which leads to higher job stress and resistance towards smartphone use. Son and Chen 2019 stated that increased work overload caused by smartphone use is associated with higher levels of work interference with leisure. Lau-Rich-Sen et al. 2024 suggests that flexibility to postpone work reduces the quality of leisure and family time. Next is past research regarding smartphone-enabled job autonomy and work-leisure conflict. Shabanet and Libatre 2025 stated that too much digitalization and autonomy can make working hours harder to control. Dewarga Judor and Dell 2018 suggest that using personal smartphones for work increases job autonomy, but it also increases workload. Wang et al. 2022 stated that job autonomy is negatively related to work-leisure conflict. Thirdly, past research regarding social support and work-leisure conflict. Lin et al. 2014 suggests that social support functions as an important resource that helps employees manage the harmful consequences of work-leisure conflict. Liang and Liu 2022 stated that support from family, friends, or social networks during leisure positively affects satisfaction with leisure activities. Next, I'm going to present the research design. This study uses a quantitative correlational research approach to determine the relationship between job resources and work-leisure conflict. This approach is appropriate to assess the hypothesis because it collects data on all variables from a single group of participants at a single point in time. This approach also allows for the examination of relationships between the variables. Data is collected using a structured online questionnaire divided into 6 sections. Section A is about demographics information. Section B is about favorite leisure activities. Section C is about smartphone-enabled job flexibility. Section D is about smartphone-enabled job autonomy. Section E is about social support. And lastly, Section F is about work-leisure conflict. Content validity of the questionnaire is ensured by adapting and citing pre-validated scales from the cited literature. The questionnaire is examined by FYP supervisor to gain feedback whether the questionnaire items are relevant and can achieve the objectives of this study. In terms of reliability, the internal consistency is assessed using Cronbach's alpha. Coefficient of alpha more than or equal to 0.70 is the benchmark for this study. A pilot test will be conducted with 30 participants before the actual data collection begins. The target population for this study is full-time employees at different organizational levels such as managers, executives, and administrative staffs at an investment holding company in Cebu, Sarawak. Convenience sampling method is used to quickly assess the required at least 110 to 120 participants. Next, I'm going to present the data collection technique. First, create questionnaire using Google Form. Secondly, conduct pilot tests with 30 participants. Thirdly, the questionnaire is then distributed to the target sample. And lastly, all responses are analyzed statistically using SPSS software. The data will be analyzed using descriptive analysis to summarize the sample demographics, calculate the means and standard deviations, and examine the frequency distribution. Next, inferential analysis, specifically Pearson correlation test, will be used to explore the correlation between the independent variables and work-leisure conflict. Thirdly, multiple regression will be used to examine which independent variable has a greater effects on work-leisure conflict. This is the reference for this study. That's all from me. Thank you.